Hello. Today we're going to cover something that it's pretty important when either setting up or adjusting or auditing Google Ads campaign with the conversion actions and in specific the primary and secondary one. It's easy to mix them up, but it's vital that we know which is which and how to optimize the campaign towards two. As mentioned, there are two types, the primary and secondary. The main difference is that the primary one, it's the one that Google Ads actually bids for, and it's the main KPI your campaigns will be optimizing towards to. In this case, since let's say we're working with an e-commerce store, the purchase events, in this case these ones, should be the primary goal, meaning as the name says, the primary action that we want users to take or that we want the campaigns to generate this type of conversion. There are the secondary ones that they can be as many as they want, that while Google will track them, for example, the add to cart, begin checkout, other types that the campaigns will actually track, they won't be bid for, meaning that while the campaign does track how many begin checkouts, how many add to carts the campaign generates, it's not the main goal or what it optimizes for. The main thing or the main difference here is that sometimes we see that, not in this case, but other accounts, people might have, for example, in this case, that we have three conversion actions for purchase. But as you will see, there's only one set up as primary. The other two are as secondary. If by any chance they are set up, let's say, two as primary, the Google Ads campaign will actually double track the sales, generating fake numbers that could lead to false decisions or not accurate data. Let's say if the campaign generated almost 5.5 hundred conversions, it will be double that number, which is far from real in this case. So it's always important to have just one primary goal for the purchase and as many secondary as you want. As I mentioned, it will be only to observe or track how many conversions do we get, but it's not the main KPI. When setting up a campaign, let's say we want to set up a sales campaign, you will be presented with which conversions we want to actually optimize for. In this case, as is an e-commerce, as I mentioned, the first one is purchase, and you will see that while we have the name here, it's important to review the conversion action that we're optimizing towards. We saw before in the purchase one, we had, let me just go back, we had three actual conversion actions, these three. However, when creating the actual campaign, you will see that we are only optimizing for the primary one, which is how it's supposed to be. Something that it's important as well, it's to always optimize to the actual goal, because we see sometimes people that say, well, we want to also add the add to cart or begin checkout as primary, because they get the idea that if they drive enough add to cart, they might lead to actual more purchases, which in Google is not the case, because what we're doing is telling the algorithm that we'll want users only to complete this conversion, which is add to cart, but not necessarily going to the next extra steps that would be to purchase or begin checkout in this case. So we're feeding the algorithm not false data because it's accurate one, but it's not the actual goal that we want to track, which is the purchase. So we're only generating more volume, but not more actual purchases. Also, something that it's important to see is that the conversions, the primary ones, it's tracked through the columns called conversions within Google, and all the secondary ones, included the primary ones, it's tracked in all conversions. So let's see here, for example, we have these campaigns. We're covering the names just to see the numbers, but for example, this campaign generated this amount of conversions, in this case purchases, but generated this amount of all conversions, which accounts for begin checkout, add to cart, purchases, any other secondary conversion that could be also taken into account. Why is this important? Because if we take the cost per conversion with this number or this number, it's going to vary a lot, and the decisions into scaling the campaign or decreasing or pausing the campaign might not be real because it's considering all conversions and not the actual one that it's generating revenue, which in this case is the purchase one. It's very important that when we set up the campaigns, we actually have the right conversion action optimizing too. And secondary, it's that we only have the primary events here because we want to track the actual conversions and not everything else.